Thank you all for coming. Again, Brian Foley proposes to saddle the taxpayers of Brookhaven with the largest property tax increase in the town's history. While my opponent just claimed moments ago that he has held the line on taxes, the truth is Mr. Foley is holding the very same tax in place that he proudly instituted when he came into office. Another $27 million property tax increase on top of last year's $27 million property tax increase. $54 million in extra property taxes on the backs of the taxpayers of the town of Brookhaven. A little historical note for context. The Stamp Act of 1765 and the Townshend Act of 1767 infuriated colonists in America because they believed those decisions by the British government were taxes being imposed upon the colonists despite a lack of representation in the Westminster Parliament. Later, a group of colonists stood up to boycott tea being sold by the British East India Company. In an effort to protect the company, the British government approved the Tea Act, which was intended to undercut the American colonists by limiting government's costs and applying taxes to everyone else. The British government tried to aid the company's finances and give it a virtual monopoly. On December 16, 1773, a group of American colonists could no longer take this misrepresentation. They gathered in unity at Boston Harbor to protest the British government's tea tax, and we know history will prove this effort sparked the American Revolution.
Hey! No tax increases! Foley tax increases!
Like the colonists before us, today we stand here united to return back power to the hard-working taxpayers of Brookhaven.
Hey!
While King Brian X. Foley will tell you he's held the line on taxes, voters should not be fooled, because the truth is he's really saying every taxpayer of this town will still have to pay the historic property tax that he instituted when he took office as supervisor.
High tax Foley! High tax Foley!
With school taxes soaring and the fact that Brookhaven is leading Suffolk County in foreclosures, the time is now to stand united and oppose King Foley's historic property tax, the parks fees he's instituted, and his record spending that includes his doling out more political patronage hirings than the people of this town can afford.
Dump Foley! Dump the tax! Dump the tax!
I now invite my colleagues to join with me in signing the Brookhaven Declaration of Independence, our pledge that we will cut this tax in our first term in Town Hall. You have our word.
Yay, woo!
Hold this up. Please run it. This reads, October 1st, 2007, the people of the town of Brookhaven's Declaration of Independence from Brian High Tax Foley. In the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political structure. Therefore, we, the good people of Brookhaven, in order to remove the devastating town property taxes imposed upon us by King Brian X. Foley, without our consent, stand here in unity to sweep him from office on November 6, 2007. And pledge to cut town property taxes and once and for all establish the virtues of fairness and integrity for the people. Thank you. Now, I'd like to introduce our candidates who've also signed this pledge. First, in the 1st District, Ed Wendell.
Thank you. Please excuse my sunglasses. The proposed 2008 Brookhaven Town budget freeze by Supervisor Foley and my opponent, Council Member Fiore Rosenfeld, only confirms that their 2007 budget increase was the highest ever in Brookhaven Town history. Now, 2 questions need to be asked of the gentleman. 1, why is the town budget for 2008 being kept so high? 2, is all of the 2007 budget, Brookhaven Town tax money already spent? Now, I can immediately refer to a recent article in Newsday dated September 23rd. A poll of Long Islanders, and it says, Long Islanders fed up with high taxes. Well, that's interesting, because do you think that headline includes Brookhaven Town residents? I do. Do you think they're talking about high taxes in Brookhaven? I do. They're talking about the currently high 2007 budget, and they don't like it. They don't want to freeze on already too high taxes. They are asking for lower budget, lower taxes. Thank you.
Keith Romaine in the 6th.
Good afternoon, everyone. My remarks are going to echo those of my fellow council candidates and of our next supervisor, Robert DiCarlo. I'll be brief because I see that the hardworking men of our Suffolk County Police Force have joined us here today for this protest. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Foley is deliberately misleading the public when he says he's freezing taxes for 2008. All he is doing is locking in the 2007 historic tax increase that the voters have received. Brian Foley's proposed 2008 budget would lock in the highest tax increase in town history that he gave us this year. The working families in Mastic Beach, Shirley, the Merchants Bay area, and Maniville are overtaxed and underserved. This continuation of the Foley tax increase from 2007 would further depress property values and add to our high cost of living. As the next councilman, you have my pledge that I will roll back the highest property tax increase in town history that Supervisor Foley gave us, place a referendum on the ballot for a tax cap law to limit property tax increases, be a fiscal watchdog with your taxpayer dollars, and be a tax fighter. I thank you.
From the 4th District, Roberta Owens.
Good evening, everybody. It's nice to be here back on Town Hall, but you know what? Change has to come, and change is today. When my opponent had the chance to vote for the people instead of the Democrats' machine, she chose politics over people, casting what was the deciding vote that saddled our hardworking families and with a historical $27 million tax increase and a $14 million in new spending. Keppard is playing politics with the lives and the physical future of the hardworking taxpayers by supporting this disastrous budget, which keeps in place $27 million in our taxes next year, which will continue the loss of jobs, increase foreclosures, and people leaving our great town. It's about the people, Connie, not politics. I will fight to vote to eliminate this tax hike and represent the people of the 4th District with open communication, honesty, and integrity that people deserve.
Candidate for Highway Superintendent, Martin Haley.
Thank you. I got to tell you, as a taxpayer, I'm kind of insulted. You know, they're trying to tell you they're not going to have a tax increase, but they're going to continue the burden. The same type of burden that the highway superintendent has perpetrated upon a taxpayer over the last 4 years. Not only is there almost a 25% increase in the tax levy for 2007, but over 50% since he's been in office. Here's an analogy, because this is going to make people understand. It's almost as if you decided to increase gasoline to $8 a gallon, and it cost you $160 to fill up the tank. What they're telling you They're telling you, don't worry about it. Next year, it'll still only be $160 to fill up the tank. Thank you very much.
Good analogy.
Thank you, Mike.
Let me wrap this up with, as we walk around and we walk door to door, people ask me, I got literature saying Brian Foley is cutting our taxes and holding the line on taxes. And the one thing I say to the people who pay the taxes in the town of Brookhaven, you don't have to believe me or everybody up here. The people of Brookhaven are not idiots. All they have to do is look at their tax bill, and they know that Brian Foley and this administration has given them the highest property tax in our history. It's an absolute disgrace, and under our administration, we will absolutely cut their taxes. Thank you.